Don't let the muggles get you down. And by muggles, I mean being stuck inside forever. Hey there, poetry pals, welcome back to another video. Before we get started, how are you? How are you coping? How long have you been in lockdown? I've tried to work it out, and if I'm honest, I don't remember. How are you doing? Have you washed your hands today? Go and wash your hands. Pause the video, go and wash your hands, come back. Have you drunk enough water? That's something that I'm struggling with for some reason, is drinking enough water. And final reminder, final thing that I just want a bit of advice right at the top of the video is wear sun cream. Just because you're in lockdown does not mean you can't get sunburn. I have really bad sunburn, that's why I'm wearing a full sleeved shirt today. I have the most ridiculous patches of sunburn, so great. This week I am doing a review of Notes on a Nervous Planet by Matt Haig. I was lent this book by one of my really good friends, Lorna, a couple of months ago because I have been struggling with anxiety to the max. Hence why when I did my I'm Back video and I was like, hey guys, I'm really struggling with anxiety, so sorry that I haven't been posting videos in a while. Then I only posted a couple of videos at the beginning of the year and then stopped again because anxiety. So since that break I have started on medication, I've started doing therapy. Thank goodness for online conferencing apps, which means I'm able to carry on doing therapy. But yeah, so that's why it was lent to me. Been struggling a lot with anxiety. Lorna, my good pal, lent me this book and it is so good. I found it so useful when I was reading it, and then I was sort of like reading a bit every single night, and then the world got, what I would say, a whole lot more nervous. I finished this book a week or two into quarantine. I was sort of like dipping in and out, so it's sort of taken me a long time to get through, but that's not necessarily a reflection of the book. So Notes on a Nervous Planet is a non-fiction book about anxiety and the world that we live in. It is broken down into chapters and each chapter is broken into segments. This makes the book incredibly easy to dip in and out of, reading like one little segment or one chapter at a time, and then you can sort of put it down and get back to it. I was reading one chapter at a time each night before bed or in the morning when I woke up, and sort of thinking about it and like thinking about what that meant for me and, you know, when going about my day. At first, when you start reading this book, it's very much about how modern life and society and modern technology and social media and generally sort of like how life works in today's society is designed to make you anxious. And at first I was a bit worried that it was going to be an entire book bemoaning modern technology and how it's bad for human beings and stuff like that, and I thought it was just going to be this wholly negative thing about how it was better back in the day, even though Matt's not actually that much older than me, so I was like, wait, where is this going? But it isn't just that. It very honestly looks at the issues with how life works in terms of social media and the 24-hour news cycle and stuff like that, and says very honestly how that can impact on your mental health, whether you do have an anxiety disorder or whether you don't. It's still an overwhelming place to be, whether physically out in the world or virtually on the internet. Life can be quite overwhelming, and then as it goes through, it also offers solutions on how to deal with that. It doesn't claim to have all the answers, and that's what I quite like about that. Matt is purely speaking from experience about what has worked for him in the past, but also confesses that sometimes it's still overwhelming, and no matter how many good habits you pick up, sometimes the world and your anxiety can still be an overwhelming thing. And that's what I've personally found really useful. The first, few bits where it's looking about how modern life can be overwhelming and stuff like that, it made me realise how it was affecting me, and how, having my phone in my pocket all the time, and going off and all these things was really sort of like affecting my thing, because it was like the internet was interrupting my chain of thought with adverts and news stories and notifications and stuff like that over and over and over, which meant my brain was just jumping from bit to bit to bit, and it's intense. And so that was a really nice thing to realise, was like, oh, this could be one of the things that is contributing to how I'm feeling at the moment. I also really found the solutions quite helpful, and it's not, one of the things he does say is like, turn off your phone, walk away from the laptop. And he also admits how difficult that is, and I appreciate that. I know saying that like stepping away from your laptop or putting down your phone is really difficult, but when you're in group chats with your pals, especially at the moment, when you're in group chats and everyone's talking and sharing Tiger King memes and stuff like that, you want to be part of it. You want to know what's going on and have the latest and stuff like that. And so you keep looking at your phone, and sometimes you forget to just be in the moment. So yeah, that was really an important lesson for me. The other thing that really blew my mind when he was talking about anxiety is not to worry about worry. And I realised when I said that, I was like, I was sat in bed and it was like, sunlight came in, there was like choral music, it was like, because I realised that when I got anxious about things, maybe I was having like intrusive thoughts and it was making me panicky, that I started worrying and panicking about the fact that I was worrying and panicking, and it would just escalate and get really bad. And one of his solutions is to lean into it. So as soon as you start feeling anxious, like, accept it, first of all. Accept that that is happening. Don't try and stop it, but lean into it. And for me personally, that really helped. What I love about this book is it offers such a range of solutions and ideas and stuff like that, that actually, no matter what state of mind you're in, you're gonna get something different, because it's not trying to tell you one thing. He sort of presents this experience of having anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that, and offers a plethora of problems and solutions and, how we can work with it. And I really like it. I cannot recommend this book enough, especially at the moment. One of my favourite chapters that I came across whilst reading this book was The Shock of the News, which is chapter 7. And one of the reasons being that the old virus was hitting the news just as I started reading it. And I realised that I was having notifications to my phone whenever there was like a breaking news story, and I was on Twitter a lot trying to find out the latest and stuff like that. And I realised that especially in these testing times, that actually, maybe don't read the news. I mean, a lot of the news out there is meant to be terrifying, and that's how they get readers and viewers and stuff like that. So sometimes it can be particularly scary, and sometimes news outlets might make things a lot scarier than they are for that shock factor. And he talks about this in this book, but I think it's most particularly relevant for right now. And, you know, I was tuning into those daily announcements by Boris and stuff like that, and then everyone would be discussing it in the various group chats I'm in, dissecting it all, talking about how negative it all was, and I found it really hard. So I stopped. I turned off all the push notifications for my group chats. I only engaged with the news when I felt in a good place to do so. I went on the government website and the World Health Organization's website to find out the guidance of what exactly social distancing means and what lockdown means and what's okay for an hour outside a day, and, you know, are we allowed to drive somewhere to go for a walk? Spoiler alert, you totally can't stay local. I didn't realise when I started reading this book how much I was going to need it during this time. So if you are struggling with anxiety during this time, which I am sure that everyone has to some degree, whether you have an issue with anxiety anyway or not, this is a like unprecedentedly anxiety-inducing time, and I want you to know that that's okay. You are allowed to feel like that, and I'm allowed to feel like that. And I think it's very, very important to let yourself be and let yourself feel the feelings that you're having, because it's okay, and you don't have to be using this time to be really productive and stuff. You can just feel like shit, and that's fine. Having said that, if you want to be really productive and do all these things, then do you, babe. Do you. The whole point is that we're not judging each other on what we're doing. If you are looking for something to read that will help you make sense of what's going on and make sense of your feelings and life and stuff like that, you can't go far wrong with this book. It's worth saying that this wasn't written about the coronavirus. It's written about our relationship with the modern world and our life, and how, you know, contemporary life is designed to be anxiety-inducing, and particularly at this anxiety-inducing time, I don't think you can go far wrong from reading this book. I'll put a link to where you can buy it below, and it's also available on Audible, which is pretty cool. If you like this book, if you've read this book, a lot of people on Instagram have also recommended me Reasons to Stay Alive, which is another book by Matt Haig. That one is a lot more about depression and suicide, so only ever heard good things about that book as well. I haven't read it, but maybe that's on my list too. So check it out, read the book. Also, let me know what you thought of the book down below. Do you agree with my opinions? Do you not? Let me know. And also, like, what books are you reading at the moment? What books should I read? What do you want to see me review next? I'm very conscious about the fact that this is not a poetry book. This is the first not a poetry book that I have done on my Not a Proper Book Review show, so let me know what you think. I'm actually reading less poetry at the moment and more variety of things. I'm mixing it up, so maybe you want me to mix it up on this channel too. Let me know. What book should I review next? Let me know in the comments. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like this video, and please share it with your friends. Wouldn't it be cool if I hit 300 subscribers soon? That'd be nice. I know, 300 subscribers, so cute.